Okay, good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. And those of you who have been attending the past day's seminars, you know we start on the dot because we're professionals, and that's what professional people do. They are not late, they are punctual. When they say 9, we mean 9, not at 9:01, not at 9:02. Okay, everyone is already posting in the chat box the school they come from and the city or province. Can I invite the others to do the same? Let us know where you are from, what school you are representing or you are part of, and then the city or province that you come from or that you are following our seminar from. We have, of course, our big group of friends from Masbate, thanks to Father Ayan de la Cruz, who extended the invitation. We have a big group also from Cebu, the CIC family, CIC Cebu family. And then we also have a big number from Davao, from Panabo, uh, our faithful friend John Watt is here with us from Paraf Northfield School, my school as well. I taught there for some years. Um, we have a number of public schools from Masbate, a big group from Lingayen, Pangasinan. Welcome. Thank you to Bishop Sok for extending the invitation to our, I think, 15 schools in Lingayen, Dagupan, uh, from Alcala, from Cebu, Manila, Laguna, Davao Oriental. Great. Thank you for coming and coming on time. Congratulations. It speaks a lot about your professionalism. Your punctuality speaks a lot about the formation you receive in your school, the importance you give to professionalism. And today we are going to talk about a very important topic. Some of you might be here because you want ideas on how to address the worsening problem of bullying in your school. Or maybe there's no problem of bullying in your school, but simply you are interested to know how can we transform our school to be a haven of kindness and caring and um, a bully-free zone. What can we do so that in our school, the students are not afraid to come, to go to. In fact, they are excited to go to. Okay, and I'm going to share with you number of principles and concrete strategies. And 2 hours really is not enough. That's why I am going, like what I did in the past days, I'm going to post this whole PowerPoint presentation, including those that I don't get to cover in our Facebook page, so that you can download them and then um, get ideas from the rest of the slides I will not be able to cover. Very well. Can I request my audience, my fellow teachers, um, type in the chat box, one, if this is your first time to attend, two, if this is your second time to attend any of our seminars this week, three, if it's the third, four, if it's the fourth, because this is now the fourth day. And great, I'm seeing here numbers 1, 4. Hello, John. uh, 2, and I see here 1, 1. Okay, first time to attend. Welcome, Jigs. Welcome, Michelle. Welcome, Rufina Prado. It's your first time. Miss Sally Jean, welcome. Fourth day for Sister Maria Marilu. Welcome ulit, Sister. So happy to see you again and again. Miss Darlene is first time. Miss Essa is first time. Welcome. And the others are second. Great. Um, Epifania is her first time. Joylyn Ruth, it's also her first. Sister Concepcion, hello. I've been seeing your name since day one. Thank you for sticking it out. and also Miss Maria Filomena. You know, Miss Filomena, your email when it came, it shook me because I have been praying to Saint Filomena for this particular seminar. I was not expecting this kind of response, and so I attribute it to Saint Filomena and her intercession. And then suddenly I saw your email. Filomena is registering. Just to let you know that I have started a devotion to Saint Filomena, thanks to the inspiration of Saint Jean Marie Vianney. And who else? Miss Maribeth, welcome. For the first time, you're joining us. Anne Louise, uh, Miss Nonette, thank you for joining us. And I'm more happy to actually see all of you here than you are happy to see me here. Honey Maris, welcome. This is your first time. Great. Okay. Um, Thank you for joining us. And let's not delay any further. I'd like to start right away our session. Let me see. I have to make sure I got to share my screen and sound. Okay. And I'd like to start with this prayer for all of you, teachers, and all of us badly need prayers these days of the pandemic, these days when things are very tough, these days when it's more challenging than ever to be teachers. And so here is a prayer for all of us teachers.
A prayer for teachers. Giver of all wisdom and greatest of all teachers, look upon our teachers with love. Grant them the resolve to nurture our eager minds and to never give up on us who fall behind. Bless their hearts, for they rejoice when we succeed and encourage us when we fail. Endow them with gentle patience, for the path of learning is never easy. Kindle a spirit of passion in them. It is the flame that ignites the love of learning in us. Help them see the potential in each student. Their belief in us means much more than the grade we make. Instill in them a commitment to keep on learning. It shows us to not fear new knowledge and experiences. Inspire them to touch the future. They influence how big a dream we dream for ourselves. Bless our teachers who have come before, for their work endures to this day. Let the light of your example shine upon all teachers, to build up with their words, to love with their mind, to share with their heart. Amen.
Okay, well, that's a beautiful prayer for you teachers, for us teachers. And at the same time, I also invite you to go to St. Joseph. The one of the titles the church has given him is Terror of Demons. And as we have been repeating the past few days, we need him now more than ever to fight against the demons of these modern times, the of this modern generation. In our effort to educate the digital natives, the demons, the devils have become more aggressive, more violent in the way they ruin, destroy morals, reputation, and so we go to him, and I want to greet all of you because it's still a Christmas season. And that's a Merry Christmas and a Blessed New Year to all of you. And aside from that prayer for teachers that we read, now let us pray as teachers to Saint Joseph, asking him. I like going to him because he is the teacher of the master teacher. He was the one who taught Jesus many things. For all you know, maybe some of the parables Jesus said, he must have learned from Saint Joseph. It's not mentioned in the gospel, but it's very possible. and Mary too. And so I invite you to join me in running to Saint Joseph, begging him to help us be the best teachers we can possibly be, given this present situation we find ourselves in. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. O blessed Saint Joseph, guardian of the child Jesus, we pray that you will help us in our daily troubles and tribulations as we try to pass on to our students all the teachings that they need to be able to succeed in their chosen professions. Help us to teach and help them to learn. Guide us all as you guided your most holy Son Jesus. Obtain for us the graces we need not only to teach and to learn, but to stay on the path shown by the light of Christ. Amen. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. Well, together we just went to Saint Joseph, the terror of demons, the patron of the universal church, and we can also say the patron of evangelizers, the teacher of the master teacher himself, Jesus. And so we ask him to help us. Very quickly, for those who just came in today, and there are some of you, my name is Emmanuel Rantoy. I'm a teacher from the University of Asia in the Pacific. And I also taught before leaving for Sri Lanka last year in Paref Northfield School as an all-boys school in Quezon City. And I founded a school in Iloilo City called Paref West Bridge School, where I served as director for 3 years before moving back to my alma mater, which is Paref Southridge School in Alabang. That's where I finished high school. And then I stayed there for 15 years to serve as principal of intermediate school, vice principal of high school, and religion department chair. Um, Many of the things I'm going to share with you, I learned in my 34 years inside the classroom. And also in the last 11 years, I've been going around the country, reaching out to teachers, parents, educators to champion character formation because I saw that it's a crisis and it's one of the top priorities we should have to make character formation a top priority. And in the last 5 years, I've been doing it more under the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts Asia, of which I'm serving as the executive director. It's an international affiliate of the Center for the Fourth and Fifth Arts based in the State University of New York in Cortland, USA, otherwise known as the Dr. Thomas Licona Institute of Asia. Okay? Fourth and fifth R's, because our principle is every human being, aside from knowing reading, writing, arithmetic, should have respect and responsibility. The fourth and fifth R's. Two things we should teach. In fact, if the students know how to respect and have a sense of responsibility, your classroom will be a kind and caring classroom. If teachers know how to show respect and responsibility, your classroom can only be can only be kind and caring classroom. Very well, that's our topic today. I am actually interested. Okay, welcome to those who have just come in. In the chat box, can you type yes if you have attended any of my seminars in the past months or past years? I've spoken to more than 60,000 people all over the Philippines, especially teachers, giving seminars all over the country in San Diego, California, in Kuala Lumpur, in Sri Lanka. I wonder if any of you here ever got to attend any of my past seminars? Ma'am Linda Tuazon said yes. Great. Thank you for still coming in. Yes, in the past years. Oh, thank you about being inspiring. It's God's work. Um, Great. Okay. Everyone else is new, so I can repeat my old jokes. Miss Gail said yes. Great. Okay. This is my first time, said Jigs. Great. So you have not heard all my corny jokes. I can repeat over and over. Great. Okay. So let us now get straight into the topic, creating a kind and caring classroom. Albert Einstein has this to say: try not to become a man or woman of success, but rather try to become a man or woman of value. And that is more important because sometimes inside the classroom, it is those men and women of success who become arrogant, who become proud, who become the source of problem for some teachers. Sometimes it's more difficult to manage, to handle, to discipline those who think they are far better than everyone else. But a woman or man of value, ay, they make our classroom so much a haven of um, peace, and it becomes so easy to teach if the classroom is full of men and women of values than men and women of success. And the same thing happens in our life. It's easier to do our work if we are surrounded by people who are men and women of character. But here's the problem. Those of you who have attended the past 4 days, the past 3 days, I've been talking about a certain crisis in character. Research says the young people today are not as kind, are not as courteous, are not as obedient as when you and I were younger. Kasi dati ganun, ano, pag sinabi ng teacher, John, sit down, uupo ng tahimik si John. Aba, ngayon pag sinabi mo kay John, John, sit down. Si John ang sama ng tingin sa'yo. Parang ikaw pa ang masamang tao. Sabi nga ni Bea Alonso, bakit parang kasalanan ko? Eh, minsan, sasagot pa sa'yo. Like what I gave you as an example the other day. Titingin sa'yo si John at sasabihin, magmamambol, ano? Sasabihin pa, ang dami-dami ditong nakatayo, ako lang papaupuin. Lagi akong pinag-iinitan. Aba, and at that moment, if you are an amateur teacher, abay gaganti ka rin. Bigla kang sisigaw. Bigla kang mambabato ng eraser. Are you challenging my authority? Ayan. There goes the kind and caring classroom that we are supposed to create. There's the crisis. There's the problem. It becomes a real serious problem. How then do we go about creating a kind and caring classroom? Well, that's our topic today. Unfortunately, sabi ng research, while we are succeeding as teachers in producing a smart and self-assured generation of young people, research says, ang mga kabataan today are also the most self-centered and stressed out on record. Most self-centered and stressed out. Now, please don't forget about the second, the stressed out. um, while we get upset, bakit ganito ang attitude ng mga kabataan ngayon? Let's also consider the fact that it's not also very easy to be a child today. Alam mo, nung bata ako, there's no such thing as common math. Ayan, di ba? Aba, ngayon ang daming estudyante, after ng dismissal, hindi pa tapos ang kanilang trabaho. Pupunta pa sila sa tutorial center. Pupunta pa sila sa piano lesson. Pupunta pa sila sa common math. In other words, they, I don't know, maybe they don't play as much as we also used to do. They don't climb santol trees and duhat trees and have fun as much as we used to. They don't have the simple joys anymore of tumbang preso and holen and agawan base and taguan. And so research says they are the most self-centered, but they also are the most stressed out children in the history of mankind. Let's not also forget that. Para bang dati ang konti lang naman ng kanilang pinag-aaralan, aba ngayon ang dami ng additional subjects pa, no? That's why we have to be understanding. We have to be considerate. If they are impatient, easily irritable, may pinanggagalingan. And then yesterday, in the topic on urgency of character formation, I also told you uh, many of them are victims of this environment we find ourselves in, which is totally different from the past generation's environment, with a easily accessible violence in media, video games addiction, pornography, na at one click, kahit grade 1 kid can be subjected to the most horrendous, harmful pornographic images in one click of the button of the keyboard. And then the number of hours they spend listening to commercials and advertisements. No wonder they are manipulated to be hedonistic and materialistic. In other words, many of them are just the victims of the environment. Let's be very understanding. Don't shout, don't scream, don't yell, and most importantly, don't give up on them. Let us not give up on them. Here's an idea. Kung sana nandun na tayo sa balik sa face-to-face classroom, my words will be more relevant. Pero let's say we're back to the usual face-to-face classroom. Think about it. Bawat isang bata, estudyante, na pumapasok sa classroom mo, enters the classroom with an unlit candle, telling you, Ma'am, Sir, please light my candle. I don't want to be in the dark anymore. I'm sick and tired of having to cope with the darkness of the world, the darkness of hatred that is there in the media every day, the darkness of parents fighting, even separating, the darkness of crime, rape, murder, assault that I read about in the newspapers and hear from 24 Horas, from TV Patrol, from Facebook reports, from what I see in Twitter, the all the sex, gore, and violence that I am subjected to. Ma'am, please light my candle. I don't want to be in the dark anymore. That's what happens. That's what really they are doing. Kaya sila pumapasok ng eskwelahan. It's not just about, Ma'am, teach me how to do addition, subtraction, multiplication. That's important. But more than that, they are looking for answers to some questions, more fundamental questions. Look at what kids are subjected to these days. The culture of hatred that they see reported in TV shows, in news shows, in television, telenovelas, the glorification of the vulgar that they hear in music, so many songs that glorify vulgarity in sex, vulgarity in violence, vulgarity in language. In language, if you go to Spotify, most of the songs there, may nakalagay na sulat, explicit lyrics inside, contains explicit lyrics, meaning to say it talks about sex and lovemaking and killing and bad words, profanities. Minsan nakakapanood sila ng pelikula, aba, 275 bad words in a span of 1.5 hours. Yung bang almost every sentence, kailangan ba talagang pasukan ng bad words? And then they start copying it without realizing it. I have a strategy in my class to call attention of students about bad words. If somebody utters a bad word, I call the name John and then I point to my mouth. Alam niya na yon. Ibig sabihin, John, watch your mouth, watch your language. But no need to say anything. No need to say things like, John, how many times do I have to tell you? Can you not control your mouth? Can you please? That's not going to work. So my strategy is simply to call the name and then point to the mouth. But you know what usually happens? You know what usually John would do? If I say, John says a bad word, and then I say, John, and then I point to my mouth, you know what John will do? He will look at me and he will say, why? But what? What did I do? He uttered a bad word and he did not even realize it. It's so much a part of his system. It has become so much a part of his system. He uh, utters those bad words, profanities, foul language without even being aware, being fully aware of it. Why? Because there is so much glorification of the vulgar out there, and it becomes a part of their system. And then we were talking about this in the digital natives, the thrill of viral bashing, um, yung bang hindi pa nila nabasa yung buong report, immediately may comment agad, no? Condemning the person who is being talked about in the article. Na hindi pa nga nila nakiklik yung article to read the whole story. And that is what we saw this past few days in the case of that Philippine Airlines flight attendant. As soon as pumutok yung balita na she was found dead, immediately the whole internet condemned the 11 boys as murderers and rapists. Uy, teka muna, wala pang police report. Teka muna, it's really possible she could have died of aneurysm. It's possible there was foul play, pero can we wait first until the guilty, the innocent is proven guilty before we start bashing them, condemning them to hell, condemning them to uh, and then yesterday the three who were held as suspects were released by police because now the videos they saw are telling a completely different story. And yet, wala na. Nasira, nawasak ang reputation ng all the 11 involved. And it will take time for them to recover. Some of them are still in hiding. Some of them, wala nang mukhang maipakita sa mga kaibigan, even if they have not even been proven as guilty. Pero this thrill of viral bashing, you remember 2 years or 3 years ago, nagising tayo December morning, nagulantang tayo dahil dito sa kwento ng Ateneo High School student na binugbog yung kanyang classmate, yung luhod o dignidad, yung ganyan, ano? Okay, we all condemn bullying. But the thousands of comments there saying something like, sana mamatay na ang buong pamilya mo.
Ay,
Ah,
yes.
do we even have to
Salamat.
resort to things like that?
Nag-sound kita na?
Let's mute the others first, no? For example, when that news report came out, there were terrible comments there that talk about uh, Montes, dito ka pumunta sa eskwelahan namin, bubugbugin kita pag nakita kita. I mean, do they have to say, do they have the right to even say something like that? And yet, you have thousands of comments like that. Sure, guilty yung bata kasi kuhang-kuha sa video yung kanyang ginawang masama. But does that entitle the whole world to condemn the person to hell? To perpetual disrepute. Wala na, parang wala na siyang reputation. Kinik out na nga ng Ateneo Oh, so ano pang gusto mo? Ikulong? Ganon? So, this thrill of viral bashing is a problem. There's no kind and caring there. We're not saying we should forgive. We're not, I mean, okay, that's divine. We are not saying pabayaan na lang natin yon. Of course, we all condemn bullying. Pero teka muna, at any point, no one has the right to just destroy the reputation of another person. And then this self-absorption epidemic, it is a crisis. It is a crisis. And it is one of those things that's bringing about the opposite of kind and caring. Paano ka magiging kind and caring when you're only concerned about yourself? You're so absorbed with yourself. Pinag-usapan natin yan kahapon and in the past days, the problem of vanity, pride. self-centeredness, selfishness, selfie mentality. Okay, reality check. Teenagers are now 40% lower in empathy levels than 3 decades ago. And in the same period, narcissism has increased 58%. Ma'am Helen, I'll mute you. Okay. So, we are witnessing this now, a certain crisis in character, in attitude, in discipline. And all of this may be responsible for the increase in cases of suicide, many of them because of bullying, diba? Many of them because of the feeling of uh, loneliness. They don't feel the love, the caring, the kindness of other people. They feel alone. So, yung rise in cases of suicide has a lot to do with the increase in selfishness and the lower empathy of people. Hindi ka naman kasi magsusuicide if you feel loved, if you feel cared for, if you feel that people understand you, if you feel that people empathize with you, and you have people to run to open up to. That's why our session today is our form of telling those victims of bullying, don't worry, we're going to help you. We're going to be here. Kapit ka lang, tutulungan ka namin. So, if not suicide, depression. Yes, the rise in cases of depression has a lot to do with the increase in pride, vanity, selfishness, and decline in empathy. Ganun din, if you have people, friends that you know who care for you, who empathize with you, you're not going to be depressed. You know you have people to run to. So, my dear fellow teachers, I think you agree with me. Kailangang ayusin ang character. We need to fix character of the young people. We need to fix society. There's something terribly wrong with the environment. Naghanap ako, saan kaya tayo magpapaayos ng character? Nakita ko tong advertisement, ano? Sabi ng advertisement ni Mr. B-Boy Alulod, we repair washing machine, refrigerator, electric pan, oven toaster, flat iron. Pero hindi, B-Boy Alulod, Mr. B-Boy Alulod does not repair character. Naganap ako ng iba pa. May nakita ako, ito, ayan, si Aling Tinay na manghihilot. Baka naman kayang ayusin ni Aling Tinay ang character ng mga tao. Pilay, 100 pesos. Masahe, 300. Buntis, 500. Kulamin ang tsismosa, 2,000 pesos. Gayumahin ng babae o lalaki. Special discount pa, 4,500. Chat sa kaluluwa, 5 minutes, 100 pesos. Uy, may unli chat pa sa kaluluwa. But all these, hindi kaya ni Aling Tinay na manghihilot to fix character. And then I realize, ay alam ko kung sinong mag-aayos ng character ng mga kabataan. Teachers, parents, tayo, adults. We are the ones in a position to fix the character of the young people, to straighten them up and change society. Fix what is wrong, what is terribly sick with society. We can do it. If we raise these young people entrusted to our care with that kind of new mindset and attitude, no selfishness, only selflessness. No vanity, only concern and empathy for other people. Service. Let's raise these young people to be that. You know, all this rise in cases of bullying, violence in campus, you know what some schools are doing? In the United States, especially, ganito ang kanilang response. Ang kanilang response to the crisis, nangyayari na rin to sa Pilipinas. I know many schools that have also responded in the same way. Sabi ni ma'am, principal, ay, yung cheating na yan, yung bullying na yan, hanapin natin yan by putting CCTVs in campus. Hulihin natin yan in action by setting up those sophisticated, expensive camera system para huli yung mga yan. Will that fix character? Did it fix bullying? Did it fix vanity, selfishness, and self-centeredness? I don't think so. In the US, because of shooting, campus shooting, yan ang kanilang response. Let's put metal detector sa entrance ng, ng eskwelahan. Like as if that's going to change character of people. Very sad, but some families, ang kanilang solution, dito ka na lang sa bahay, anak, ako na lang magtuturo sa'yo. Anyway, nasa internet na naman lahat ng pag-aaralan mo. Tapos mag-exam ka na lang ng placement exam to enter college. And all these do not necessarily fix character. When really, what we need to do is give them character formation, create a kind and caring classroom. Then we will be able to fix character. Bullying, for example, sabi nitong what works and doesn't work in bullying prevention. In order to reduce bullying, it is important to change the social climate of the school and the social norms regarding bullying. This requires the efforts of everyone in the school environment: teachers, administrators, school nurses, other non-teaching staff like bus drivers, custodians, cafeteria workers, and or school librarians, parents, and students. You see, um, hindi pwedeng CCTV ang magtatrabaho ng changing the atmosphere. That will not improve school climate. If we are to address bullying, we need to change the whole culture. It has to be the culture of kindness, caring, respect, responsibility. And I emphasize now, it's not just the work of the religion teachers, the guidance counselors, the school officers. All teachers should be involved. Wait, but here's more, including the ladies selling in the cafeteria. They too are in a position to create the climate, a culture of kindness and caring inside campus. The security guard who smiles at every single one who passes through that gate to welcome them. The librarian, the si Manong at si Manang who keep order and the cleanliness in our campus. Everyone inside the campus should contribute to building a culture, um, an atmosphere of caring and kindness. Then, student achievement will follow. Okay? So, yung ibang school, para mag-increase ang kanilang student achievement, nag-organize ng um, tutorials, extra classes after dismissal. Yeah, pero kung ang atmosphere sa eskwelahan mo is dog eat dog, competition, uh, yung parang talagang patayan, siraan, the valedictorian nakikipag-away with the salutatorian. They're not friends. They don't see eye to eye. They don't even get to talk with each other. It doesn't work. I mean, student achievement increases when students feel more comfortable in their learning environment. You're not just lifting up the higher echelon students, you're going to lift up everyone. If the climate, the culture is one of caring and kindness. Gentleness and kindness will make our homes and schools a paradise upon earth. That's how it goes. how beautiful a day can be when kindness touches it. I mean, really, no one would ever want to be in a place where they are in danger of being mocked, laughed at, teased, made fun of. But yeah, all of us want to be in a place where we are understood, where people reach out to us, where people empathize, where people celebrate with us as they comfort us when we are going through tough times. So, kindness. A caring classroom is not only comfortable, teachers, you know this. A caring classroom allows us to spend more time teaching and less time handling student conflicts. I know some good teachers who quit teaching, who left the profession, not because they don't like the idea of impacting lives, making a difference. They gave up because they couldn't uh, they couldn't take anymore having to deal with discipline problems, having to deal with investigations of disciplinary cases. Administrators, you know this, that is one of the most tiring parts of our jobs when we would have to try to get to the bottom of cases, disciplinary cases of stealing, of cheating, of fighting, of bullying, of cyberbullying. And then we feel so exasperated after having to investigate, interview, interrogate even. Ang pangit ano? How we wish we don't even have to do anything like that and just teach and teach well. So, let us address this. Let's create a kind and caring classroom, a kind and caring school, so that the atmosphere is so nice. We all just have to teach well every single day. Effects of crisis in empathy. That is what's hurting the academic performance of students. That is what leads to bullying. Is what's leading to more cheating, to less resilience, to the inability of students to collaborate with each other, the inability to innovate, and the inability to solve problems. So it's worthwhile. Let us find solutions. Let us look for strategies that are effective. I'll show you already the best study done on how to create a whole culture and climate of kindness and caring. This was done by Dr. Thomas Licona, and he put it in the book Smart and Good Schools. He visited more than 100 schools in the United States that are smart and good, producing students who are smart and good. And then he put together all the best practices of these schools. If you want a copy of the 278-page report, you can email me, or one of these days I will be able to post it in our Facebook page so you can download it and learn from successful schools. Although they are based in the United States, the principles are the same. We're not going to be able to cover all of these, but all the principles I'm going to share with you will fall under one of these 12 systematic, scientific, even you can say, kasi they really studied this approach. Okay? In order to create a smart and good, kind and caring classroom. In fact, sabi niya nga dito, hindi pwedeng isang classroom lang. It has to be every single classroom and all the school in general, the whole school in general. So may strategies for the whole school, and then the rest are strategies inside the classroom. And I hope to be able to share a big number of those strategies with you. Yesterday, we mentioned Hal Urban, the author of Lessons from the Classroom, 20 things good teachers do. And we're going to look into some of his strategies. In fact, we didn't get to cover them, so I'm going to start today with some strategies from his book. Here, for example, are the daily four. Before he starts his class every day, he would do these four things to create a kind and caring atmosphere. For example, instead of doing simply the the opening prayer, because in Catholic schools they would start with a prayer, instead of simply saying one of those formula prayers, which is okay, he would start by saying, "Okay, why don't we start the class today with the Thanksgiving prayer? Anyone wants to share with us some good news that we can be thankful for?" Yan. Okay? Or he would tell them, get a partner and share one good news with that partner, whether it be, I passed the quiz this morning, my mom gave me a gift, my dad sent us an email, he has been abroad and he finally reconnected, my dog finally is not sick anymore. Share one good news with a partner. And I'm going to give you 1 minute to do that. Imagine how suddenly the atmosphere changes when people are sharing good news. And then another thing that he can do, tell about someone or something you're grateful for. So get a partner and then share something you're grateful for. Or, as I said, let's offer our uh, prayer to start the class, thanking God for one gift or another, one good news or another from anyone. Affirm someone in class. John, you're punctual again. Good job. You're really consistent. Keep it up. That's affirming someone in class. Joanna, you were absent last meeting, but I see that you are going to submit an assignment. Good job. That's what it means to be responsible. You are affirming someone in class. And take note, that doesn't cost a single centavo. And it will only, I don't know, that's only 4 seconds, 5 seconds. And yet, that kind of action, affirming someone in class, praising a good deed done by another, it changes the whole environment. It changes the mindset of people. It changes the disposition of people. That's already improving school climate, classroom climate. Or number four, share a joke. Make us laugh. Prepare a joke that you will share with a class. And of course, the joke must be clean, wholesome. Just with this daily four that Hal Urban would make sure he gets to do to start a class, suddenly changes the whole environment. That's what it means to create a kind and caring classroom. You look for those strategies that can change drastically the air. And there are many more. I'll just share with you a few more because sabi ko kahapon, I want to give you strategies and strategies. We didn't get to cover all of them. Well, okay, here's the most important strategy he learned as a teacher. He was a teacher for more than 20 years. But on his last day, on his first year as a teacher, so nagturo siya, no? On the first year of his teaching, on the last day of the teaching of that school year, he learned a very important lesson in a hard way. And he said, ever since that time, he would use this strategy. So, what is that last thing that happened on the last day? As the students were passing their final paper, here came a student, a girl, submitting her paper, her final submission to Mr. Urban, Dr. Urban. And Hal Urban got the paper, and at that moment, he realized, I don't even remember the name of this girl. I don't even remember talking to her. I don't even remember having any dealings with her. She was just one more face in my classroom. And Hal Urban felt so bad So bad, he said, I am such a bad human being. I'm bad. I was with this girl for 10 months and I never even treated her like a real human being inside my classroom. And so at that moment, he made a resolution, a strategy that he will use, and he will use it every single day in his classroom from that point on until his retirement. And what is it? He would welcome the students in his classroom with a handshake. He will welcome his every single one of them. It's not wasted time, he said. In the US, it's the students who would transfer from one classroom to another, di ba? So he would stand at the door and welcome every single one of them with a handshake. Later on, some of them preferred, instead of handshake, a high five. Okay, high five. Some of them, they would prefer a fist bump. Okay, fist bump. Some of them would prefer something they never get at home, a hug. Okay, a hug. And he said, 20 years later, 30 years later, he would meet some of these former students, and that's what they will never forget about Dr. Hal Urban. The way he treated them, he welcomed them like human beings inside the classroom. So, George Isaac Brown said, never let the demands of your job cause you to forget that each one of your students, each one of them, no exemption, is a feeling, thinking human being. And for education to be effective, it must be personal. So, let's never forget this. And one of those ways by which we can make them feel that we are treating them as human beings is by welcoming them. In the Philippines, with so many students to handle inside the classroom, maybe that will take a lot of time. Okay, but just looking around the room, looking at every single one of your students, connecting eye to eye before you start your class, may be okay. In the Philippines, maybe instead of a handshake, the students do the mano po. Okay. And make them line up and do the mano po to you. It will take up, I don't know, 2 minutes for the whole class to be able to do that. But that is something very precious, and that is something that makes the students feel that they are welcome. And that will totally change the atmosphere in our school. John Dewey said, the deepest urge in human nature is the desire to be important. And that's why we spend that time to make the students feel important. It's not a waste of time. Again, I repeat what I have already said. Ang mga estudyante pumapasok ng classroom natin, they're not really just in search of how to subtract, how to add, how to deduct, how to multiply. They're not just there in order to learn how to form sentences and grammar and syntax and spelling. Yeah, those are important. But more importantly, they are there because they want to be successful as human beings over and beyond passing a quiz, passing a test. Okay? Nung inumpisahan ni Hal Urban yon, um, eye contact, shaking hands firmly, with a smile on the face. Nung umpisan ginawa niya yon, many students felt uneasy. They don't even know how to shake hands. Sabi ni Hal Urban, minsan paghawak niya ng kamay, parang ang hawak niya patay na isda. parang parang walang buhay yung sa umpisa, until the students themselves start realizing this means a lot. My other teachers don't do this. I never experienced this kind of welcoming attitude in the other class until really the students start also learning how to put eye contact, how to shake hands firmly, and how to put on a smile. And they also bring that out there. When they meet people, they learn how to smile, look in the eyes, and give a firm handshake. You have just taught them GMRC in a most powerful way without even having to add another subject, but simply having an additional action. Here's a video I'd like to share with you of how one school would do it in the US.
Good morning, Asher Bills.
Okay, very nice, no? I mean, you imagine how that totally changes the atmosphere in the school. So that's another strategy. If you will find it difficult to welcome everyone with a handshake, have somebody in charge every day as the official welcomer of the class of the day. Tomorrow, it's going to be another student in charge of that. And then on another day, it's another student in charge. So in the end, by the whole, um, well, not just by the whole year, but after 50 students doing that, you go back again to the first, they start getting assigned again to be in charge of welcoming. Okay, let me see. I have been talking for almost an hour, and we don't normally can give a break, but we can. I can show you a short video as a way of giving everyone a bit of rest. And when we come back after this video, we will proceed on with other strategies, okay? Um, but first, I'd like to share this nice video with you. And those who need to go to the washroom, those who need to drink water, those who need a bit of break. Anyway, this is going to take I think 3 minutes, so you can take advantage now of the time. While everyone else who don't need to take a break, then this is a very nice, inspiring commercial for you from Jollibee.
Mommy! Mommy? Jason?
Nasaan ka ba, Jason?
Jason?
Sana maalala mo lahat ng biniling ko sa'yo. Tandaan mo, huwag kang sasama kahit kanino. Huwag kang iiyak. Be a brave boy. Tumingin ka lang sa paligid. Hanapin mo yung lugar na pinag-usapan natin. Puntahan mo. Doon kita pupuntahan.
A prayer for teachers. Giver of all wisdom and greatest of all teachers, look upon our teachers with love. Grant them the resolve to nurture our eager minds and to never give up on us who fall behind. Bless their hearts, for they rejoice when we succeed and encourage us when we fail. Endow them with gentle patience, for the path of learning is never easy. Kindle a spirit of passion in them. It is the flame that ignites the love of learning in us. Help them see the potential in each student. Their belief in us means much more than the grade we make. Instill in them a commitment to keep on learning. It shows us to not fear new knowledge and experiences. Inspire them to touch the future. They influence how big a dream we dream for ourselves. Bless our teachers who have come before, for their work endures to this day. Let the light of your example shine upon all teachers, to build up with their words, to love with their mind, to share with their heart. Amen.
Okay, we're ready for part two of our presentation on kind and caring classrooms. And we go to another strategy from Hal Urban. So the first strategy I mentioned is welcoming the students with a handshake, dealing with every single one of the students as a human being inside your classroom, not just as one more class number. I know this is more difficult than ever because of the class size. And that is where you can distinguish between a teacher who is an employee and a teacher, master teacher, who really wants to make an impact in the lives of students. The second strategy we can learn from Hal Urban, and he said it's the second most important thing he did as a teacher, is to teach manners and the golden rule. Okay? To teach manners and the golden rule. Okay, itong mga plan of DepEd people, Yorme, to bring back GMRC to strengthen good manners and right conduct, etc. But you know, this is supposed to be done by every single teacher inside the classroom, whatever subject, whatever subject they are handling. Okay? And the other thing is the golden rule. So, for example, uh, well, Henry Rogers says, if manners were an animal, it would be an endangered species. I mean, it's really going down. We observe it. The students are not as kind, not as caring as they used to be, or we used to be. Okay? Here is a strategy of Hal Urban that he would do on day one of the school year. On day one of the school year, what Hal Urban would do is to make the students describe what is a classroom you don't like to be in. Okay? Can you describe to me a classroom that you don't like, you don't want to be in? Magtataasan ng kamay ng mga bata. Sir, if the students are rude, yan. And then you will write all of them on the left side of the board, of the blackboard. Rude, inconsiderate, disrespectful, offensive, teasing, bullying. We don't want those things. Very good. Now, can you describe to me the kind of classroom you would like to see or you would like to be in? And people will start raising their hands. People are courteous. People are considerate. People are respectful. People are polite. People are kind. People are care. You write them on the right side of the board. Then, after you make those two lists, On the left side, the kind of classroom they don't like, and on the right side, the kind of classrooms they want to be in. You make them commit. Class, this list came from you, not from me. Can you commit yourselves, therefore, to ban, to prohibit, to avoid, to remove all these on the left side? Because sabi nyo yan eh, kayong nagsabi niyan, you don't like to be in that classroom. And then can you commit yourselves to maintain this kind of classroom? I'm not dictating, kayo sa inyo nang galing yan, core choose. And then these two lists can end up in a poster, in two posters, one on the left, one on the right. And every time somebody is rude, not raising hands, shouting answers without being acknowledged, no need to say anything. You just have to point at the poster, effectively saying, teka muna, didn't we commit ourselves? We will not allow rudeness inside the classroom. When somebody is disrespectful, no need to say anything. You can just call the name John and then you point to the poster, effectively saying, didn't we commit to? And it's a very fantastic strategy because it stops you from shouting, screaming, yelling, sermonizing, yung ang dami-dami mong sinasabi. Ilang beses ka ba dapat pagsabihan na hindi pwede? No need. Just point to the poster and remind him, didn't we commit ourselves to maintain this class? So now you can come up with, if it's an online class, you can come up with agreements with your students about what kind of atmosphere in the Zoom room, in the Google Classroom that you want to see and what you don't want to see. And then it's a matter of pointing to them that, well, it's not a poster, but it's a list that you agreed on. Let's continue on. Okay, so yung itong binigay ko kanina, di ba? School-wide strategies, 3. Classroom strategies, 9. Here are just the 3 big ideas about them. The first big idea about that 12-point program. A high-quality, comprehensive approach to character education is the most effective way to develop caring classrooms and schools, and thereby reducing or even removing bullying. Okay? High-quality, comprehensive approach. Kasi, naalala ninyo, all the schools were required after 2009, nung pinasa ng Senate yung Anti-Bully Act of 2009. Aba, lahat ng eskwelahan naghahanap ng programs. Lahat ng eskwelahan naghahanap ng tulong. I spent a lot of time going around the Philippines giving seminars on bully prevention program, how to craft a good one, an effective one. Hopefully, we will be able to offer that module in the coming days in a webinar like this. Kasi walang program, it's not in place. But since now it has been made into law, suddenly everyone was campering to come up with a program. Yung iba, ang program nila, maglagay lang tayo ng posters, no to bullying, or kindness zone. Yung posters na ipopost natin all over campus, that's not high quality. That's not comprehensive. And that did not fix the problem of bullying, of cyberbullying, of fighting, of lack of kindness and lack of caring. It has to be a program that is high quality and comprehensive. And we're going to discuss, ano ibig sabihin nun? Okay. One is, it has to be intentional. Okay? It has to be intentional. Hindi pwedeng, chamba, biglang nawala na yung bullying. Nope, it is intentional, deliberately seeking to positively impact character development through every phase of school and classroom life. Hindi pwedeng sa class lang ni Sister Joanna, the religion teacher. Uy, it's a kind and caring. Pero paglabas ng teacher, paglabas ng mga estudyante sa classroom, andyan na naman ang teasing, cheating, copying, putting down, fighting, hurting, harming. Or sa loob ng classroom, ang ganda, kind and caring. Pero paglabas sa PE, nandun pala sa locker room, nagsisiraan, nagsusuntukan ang mga bata. Itong mga teenager boys na to, nandun pala sila nagsisipaan. Doon sa basketball court, ang rough game. Halos magsuntukan na para lang mag-agawan. Hindi siya every school and classroom life, every phase of school and classroom life. O kaya, sa school bus pala nangyayari ang bullying. O kaya, sa cafeteria pala nangyayari yung siraan at awayan. It's not comprehensive. So, dapat daw, the program should involve everything, everyone. Okay? Because school climate matters. Bullying is strongly related to overall school climate. Bullying decreases when the school climate improves. When the students have greater voice and responsibility for solving problems and making decisions that improve their school. Kaya one strategy in that, if I ever get to talk to you about the crafting a good bully prevention program, one of the strategies there is involve the students in the crafting of the bully prevention program. They have to have an input. After all, sila nga ang pinanggagalingan nitong bullying eh. Problema actually nila yan eh. For example, make them involved in coming up with what are the possible punishments? What are the possible sanctions that we can give to bullies? You'll be surprised. Mas matindi sila mag-isip ng sanction. Minsan, mas grabe ang kanilang iisipin na consequence, na punishment. Mas stricto pa sila. So, and moreover, when you do that, then they own the problem. They own the task of creating a kind and caring school. It's not just your problem. It's the concern of everyone. It's in our hands to create that atmosphere. Okay? Now, teachers, let me tell you this. Sabi ng research, if the teachers themselves act like a bully, take note, sabi ng research, if it's the teacher himself or herself who acts like a bully, pushing people around, putting down students, saying things like, no, stop talking, I don't want to hear your argument, that's bullying. That's not allowing the student to have a chance to explain himself. Then, chances are bullying goes higher among the students if the teacher himself or herself is like the big bully of the class. I want to show you this beautiful video. It's powerful. It's not in English, no words in fact, but from the story, you will get a very important lesson. Sorry. Sorry about that. Let me see. Okay, very nice, no? That's a very moving video. I hope you were able to see it, and I hope it moves you. I know some of you are wondering, uy, gusto ko yan. Gusto ko makuha yung video na yan para pakita ko din dun sa, sayang nandito dapat si Ma'am Joanna, yun yung laging sigaw ng sigaw sa estudyante. Sana nandito si Sir Edward, yung laging namamalo ng students. No? Well, okay, all of these videos are also going to be there in the PowerPoint presentation that you can download from the Facebook page. Okay, so please make sure you ask to be admitted there. Catholic schools, Catholic school teachers materials. Okay, Catholic school teachers materials. That's the name of the Facebook page. And there are many more that are posted there, the handouts and reading materials. Okay, so the message of the video is wait, don't judge too quickly the kids. Huh? Let's not give up on any one of them. Some of them are not diabolic intentions. I mean, they're not evil. It's just that their life can be complicated. Bago ka sumigaw dyan sa estudyante na tulog ng tulog sa classroom mo, ay, kausapin mo muna, bakit nga naman hindi matutulog yan? Eh hanggang alas 3 ng umaga, umiiyak kasi ang nanay tatay niya nag-aaway. O kaya hanggang alas 2 ng umaga, umiiyak yan kasi ang tatay niya sumakabilang bahay, hindi na umuwi. May pinuntahang ibang babae. And it's happening. I know students, personally, I've had students who went through something like that. They were abandoned by their father. They were abandoned by their mother. It's very painful. And kaya naman pala antok lagi sa klase ko. Kasi napaka-drama ng kanyang buhay. So, sabi ng research, kung ang teacher mismo is acting like a bully to the students, chances are bullying in that classroom would be very rampant. Okay, itong study na to, pinag-aralan nila yung mga maraming bully prevention programs available. Okay? They studied 44. In the US kasi ang dami-dami, sobra. You go to the internet, bully prevention program. Ang dami mong makikita. Most of them for sale. Most of them ginawa lang para for commercial purpose, no? For profit. So they studied 44 of them, and less than half, only 19, were found to be effective. And in fact, not all of them were 100% effective. But here are what they discovered. Among the 19 that were effective, kahit na 20% effective lang, here are the things they found to be the ingredients to effective programs. Number one, the programs work to create a school climate where bullying is socially unacceptable. Okay? That the principal, laging lumalabas sa bibig niya, class, school, students, teachers, we do not allow bullying in this school. Okay? So, dapat laging lumalabas yan. Hindi yung once a year lang during the orientation, hindi yung only when there is a crisis, kasi may disciplinary case na seryoso, kasi may parent na nagreklamo. No, even if walang nagrereklamo, we have to continuously mention, affirm that we stand for zero tolerance for bullying. Number two, enlist the support of the community. Community includes students, teachers, parents, and yes, non-academic staff. The security guard who may actually be the one who is able to observe bullying happening. The in charge of the PE equipment na nakikita niya how one student is being pushed around by the classmates during PE time. Ayan. So, everyone has to be involved. Whole school approach. Ma'am earlier posted in the group chat. It has to be. Sama-sama tayo, tulong-tulong. Number three, increase supervision of playground and other areas like cafeteria, library, where normally you don't have teacher supervising the place. Number four, yes, there's got to be sanctions, firm sanctions for bullying, whether it is the detention or making him do the opposite as a punishment because you are found to be guilty of bullying. Your punishment, your sanction, your consequence is you have to come up with a project to campaign for kindness. You have to submit that proposal paper by next week. So making him do the opposite. Or as a sanction for the serious offense that you've committed, you are going to do community service, uh, visiting the orphanage or visiting the home for the aged and do 1 day of volunteer work, or doing volunteer work in the National Children's Hospital for 1 afternoon serving food to the sick children. So at the same time forming them in character, but yes, there must be consequence. And then number 5, use ongoing messages to help students recognize aggression and support and stick up for victims. Bago nag-umpisa yung seminar, one of the videos I showed was playing while waiting for 9 a.m. to start the seminar. The video I showed was the commercial of Burger King, where they bullied a Whopper burger. And then at the same time, they hired some kid actors to pretend one boy is being bullied. And as it turned out, 95% of the customers complained about the Whopper that was beaten up, binugbog ng kitchen. Whereas yung bata who was being bullied, only 15% of the witnesses stood up for the for the victim. And then ang conclusion ng advertisement is every junior, not just Whopper junior, but every high school junior, every junior deserves to be defended, and you have to stand up for every junior, not just the burger. It's effective. It made people talk about bullying, and it drives home the point that really the problem many times is people are not ready to stand up for the victim. If there are people who stand up for the victim of bullying, ay walang bullying. Hindi mangyayari. So, a message like this should be very visible all over campus. Be kind to others. Teachers should often repeat that. Be kind to others. The principal, in her or his school-wide message, can always end talking about being kind to others. Okay, the Always Bullying Prevention Program is considered to be the best already among the 44 that were studied. Pero after 2 years of implementation, it's just 22% reduction in student reports of bullying, verbally bullied, and only 23% reduction in reports of being physically bullied. Our concern now is what to do with the almost 80%. Okay? The challenge is how then do we reduce the nearly 80% of the bullying that remains even after implementing a state-of-the-art bullying program like that of Always Use. And here it is. The answer is a comprehensive character education program that not only seeks to suppress the negative behavior bullying, but also to promote its psychological opposites, which is precisely what the topic of this seminar today is all about: respect, cooperation, kindness, caring. Kindness matters. We have to choose kindness always, always. Okay, again, let's review 3 things. No? The program must be comprehensive. Big idea number 2. So big idea number 1, if you're going to create a kind and caring classroom, it has to be comprehensive, involving the whole school, the whole community. Big idea number 2, You want to create a kind and caring classroom and school? Then your program should involve knowing, feeling, and behaving. Posters alone will not solve the problem. Talking alone about it will not even solve the problem. It has to have these three parts: knowing, feeling, behaving. So, good character is all about knowing it in your head, but you don't stop there. Feeling it in your heart, but you don't even stop there. Show me with your hands. Do it, act it out. Then I can say, okay, you have character. It's not enough that the students know what cheating is and the sincerity, truthfulness, that they will not cheat. They know it, but do they practice it? Do they really not submit cut and paste materials to you and then they claim it's theirs? Do they really do the work that they submit and they put their name on it? Or was it done by the mother, the father, the brother, and yet their name is the one that appears there? That's not showing it with their hands. Kindness makes a fellow feel good, whether it's being done to him or by him. Let's keep that in mind. Kindness begets kindness, and kindness creates an atmosphere and a disposition, a habit, an outlook. Because it's true, when you see kindness being done, even not to you, you feel good about it and you want to do more kindness. Young people develop character by what they see, what they hear, and what they are repeatedly led to do. That's according to James Tenson, the author of this Compass, a handbook of parent leadership. So then, your program should be just that. It consists of not just thinking, it should also have the feeling, and then it should have the acting, the doing. Make them do it. That's why one of the schools of character in the Philippines, Morning Star Montessori School in Laguna, when I visited it, I was immediately impressed by the way every single one I met along the corridor greeted me with courtesy. It's not a put on. They were all really trained and reminded again and again to be courteous to people. And they would greet. The students I met greeted me, good morning, good afternoon, with a smile on their face, with courtesy. The teachers I met greeted me, the lady in the cafeteria, the security guard at the gate. Every single human being I met greeted me with such courtesy because they were trained to do that. It's a school of character, and it created a totally different atmosphere, um, healthy climate, very different from what I saw in some schools I visited, na students running around, ignoring you. That's not kindness. Teachers that you meet along the corridor do not even look and make an eye contact. It's totally different. So, review, the program must be practical. It's not just concept, posters, decorations. It's program that makes people do things. Big idea number 3, students need moral virtues and performance virtues. In other words, it's not just about being good, it's also about doing good. In the case of Dr. Licona, in that book, Smart and Good High Schools, that's what he classifies them. Character is not just about moral character, it has to be accompanied by performance character, and the other way around. Performance character must be accompanied by moral character. So, in concrete terms, ito ang some samples of performance character on the left. commitment to continuous improvement, goal setting, work ethic, determination, self-confidence, initiative, creativity, yan, doing yan lahat, ano? And then, moral, ethical character, being good. They have respect, they have responsibility towards others, they have compassion, humility, integrity, justice, moral courage. And there are many more virtues and values that can fall under each one of them. Pero one cannot be without the other. Kasi kung walang moral character, a student can resort to lying, cheating, stealing, even killing in order to achieve the what is a performance goal, uh, getting high grades, being honor student. That's the performance goal. But if it is not accompanied by moral character, they can be resorting to illicit means. Miss Razel said there is no audio. Can you give me a thumbs up if you can hear my audio? Is my audio okay? Kindly please type in the chat box. Okay, the sound is okay. So I think somebody has to tell Miss Razil that she has to log out and log in again. Something's wrong with her system, not with our system. Okay, thank you. Let's continue on. Without performance character, on the other hand, ay mahirap. Hindi tayo magtatrabaho with excellence. We will have difficulty developing our human potential and enacting our moral um, values effectively. Okay? So, very good. The mission, therefore, of every school, of every good school, of every good and smart high school and grade school is to develop performance character and moral character, best work and best behavior through an ethical learning community. Okay? So, that is what we want to be able to achieve. Again, to review, three big ideas na, di ba? Comprehensive, it should include performance. And number three, the program must help them to be good and to do good. They have to go hand in hand. So then, let's talk about character education. We can now define, therefore, character education, character formation as this: the deliberate effort to develop moral and performance virtues through every phase of school and classroom life. And only in that way can we create a smart and good high school, smart and good grade school, smart and good classroom. Kindness. That's what we said we are going to, what we have been looking at. Creating a kind and caring classroom. Ang problema is we are observing it. It's happening everywhere, not just in your school. It's happening everywhere. There is school bullying and there is cyber bullying. In fact, I know some schools, ang ganda-ganda ng program nila. Very effective actually. Pero kahit paano meron pa ring nangyayari. Meron pa ring nakakalusot of a certain kind of bullying or a certain cyberbullying. In fact, I had to help a number of schools in the past years deal with cyberbullying. Kasi ang hirap nun, ano? After school hours nangyayari. And yet, magko-complain ang parents sa principal kasi ang involved is classmate ng anak niya. Problema pa rin ang eskwelahan. Dapat hindi na natin problema yon kasi parents dapat ang nagsusupervise. Pero hindi. Hindi. Now, we are also saying, let's address it. Let's have school policies regarding cyberbullying, regarding school bullying, even if it happens outside of the classroom, because it involves the people we are supposed to educate. Sabi nitong nanay, children remind me of chickens, seeking out the weak and wounded and pecking them to death. They have discovered that my 9-year-old son, who is autistic, is bothered by loud noises, and they scream and whistle in his ear until he cries. Kawawa naman, ano? And we feel the pain because many of you are also parents or you have younger sisters, brothers. And we, inside ourselves, we say, no one should ever have to go through anything like this. This is unfair. This is not right. We have to put a stop to things like this. When students are victims of peer cruelty, yeah, their learning is affected. It disrupts their social and moral development. It makes school a miserable experience. It causes some to seek revenge. It causes others to become even suicidal. Sabi ng 8th grade girl who committed suicide, she left a suicide note saying, "All my life I have been teased. I love you very much, but I just couldn't stand it anymore." This is painful to read, and it's even more painful to know that it can happen, or worse, it has happened. We have to remind everyone, kindness matters. Everybody needs attention, love, caring. In the US, suicide and bullying. In the US, 14% of high school students seriously consider suicide. That's a lot. Victims and perpetrators of bullying are both at higher risk of depression and suicide. The effects of chronic bullying can persist into adulthood. Here's a video I'd like to share with you that precisely talks about the seriousness of bullying. No sound, just visual to drive home the point. There. He's broken. And sometimes we have students who are like that. Inside them, they're really broken, screaming for help, asking for support. They are really in need of help. Or we read like this, it's right at our doorstep. Hindi natin pwedeng sabihin, ay, sa US lang yan nangyayari. Hindi. We keep on hearing, reading about it here, back home, or cyberbullying. Although this is a Filipino-American, pero sa US nangyari, no? Pero ganito rin. Uy, teka muna. Pati ba naman itong online learning? So, may problemang ganito na nangyayari. And it's about time that we step in and say, ay, we have to do something. This is what we stand for as an institution. And those of you who are administrators, principals in this seminar, you have to make sure kasama yan sa ongoing professional development ng teachers, that they are made to look at it, study it over and over, and to go deeper and deeper in their understanding and appreciation of the school's touchstone. Let me show you, for example, a school that values kindness. You can see it, it's very visible. The doors, the corridors, the classrooms, all shout, scream, yell kindness. I mean, it's like don't take anything for granted. Every reminder we can give to the students about kindness, let us do so. One of the participants here, Mr. John Watt of Northfield, he knows this very well. That's what he does. His classroom decoration would always highlight, for example, certain touchstone, virtues, values that we teachers want to inculcate among our students. The way we decorate the bulletin board, the way we decorate the entrance, the doors, the corridors. We even come up with all sorts of gimmicks. In the afternoon session, we have one participant there, the school principal, directress of Morning Star Montessori School. When I visited their school, I was impressed by the kindness tree. Every classroom has a kindness tree. Now, what is that? Students, when they do an act of service, a kind act at home, they make their parents sign a piece of paper with the indication there that he did a kind act. He helped he helped his brother do the assignment. He helped set up the dinner table. He fed the dogs. He whatever it is, a kind act that the student does, and then the parents sign it. And the next day, the student will go to the classroom, hang that piece of paper in the kindness tree, and one glance, one look, you can have an idea of how many kind acts are being done by the students at home with the confirmation of the parents because they sign it. You enter and you are reminded about, uy, hindi ako nakagawa ng kind act kahapon sa bahay. I should do later. It's amazing. You see some of the trees really overflowing, full of this signed papers of indicating the kind acts that they did at home. Yun ang ibig kong sabihin ng kindness that you can see, that you can hear, that you can touch, that you can feel. And it's a reminder that, yes, we value every kind act that you do here in school and at home. And yeah, that creates a different, totally different environment. When students start thinking of trying to outdo each other in doing kind deeds, that totally changes the climate, the atmosphere. So you get the point, no? So staff involvement is important, and one way of we can doing it is through school-wide touchstone, core values, core virtues. Then let's go to students. We have a few minutes left. How do you involve students? Well, make class meetings. May na-attendan akong isang conference in Washington, D.C., and the speaker said, you have learned so many strategies throughout this conference, but if there is only one that you're going to bring home, make sure it is this: hold class meetings. Class meetings are when the class advisor or the teacher makes the students discuss certain issues together, especially in coming up with solutions to problems that are inside the classroom, whether it's bullying or cheating or absenteeism or tardiness. Make the class discuss it and come up with solutions. That's class meetings. Here are 20 types or kinds of class meetings. Good news meeting. Pag-uusapan nyo lang yung good news about the class that they did or that they accomplished. Or circle whip. Yung you form a circle, or even if you don't form a circle, but the idea is to get everyone to contribute to the discussion. Circle whip, like you give them a statement that they will complete. I like about the class best this, and then they contribute. What do I like best about the class? And then they can start putting in. Everyone should be given a chance to contribute. And from there, you will be able to see what you need to work on, what you need to foster. Or the next day, it can be a negative thing. What I don't like about in this class. And then let everyone contribute. Don't argue, just let them say it out. It's like brain dumping. That's circle whip. getting everybody to contribute something. Appreciation time. Okay, let's have a class meeting. Anyone is free to express appreciation for anything or anyone inside the classroom in our class. And then you get everybody again to contribute, and or compliment time, or goal setting meeting. So, ito ang some samples of circle whip statements that you can make the students complete the sentence. I'm wondering why, and then let them say what it is. And then from the inputs of everyone, you can come up with either proposals, suggestions, recommendations, start, stop, um, discussion, what we need to stop, what we need to start doing. Next set is this: rule setting, rule evaluating meeting, stage setting meeting, feedback and evaluation, or reflections on learning. Diba? When you do this, you are empowering the students. You are making them own. Kahit anong problema sa loob ng classroom, you are effectively telling the class, uy, hindi ito problema lang ng eskwelahan. Hindi ito problema lang ng teacher. Sama-sama tayo. Let's meet about it. Let's plan it. Let's set goals. Let's look for solutions. Student presentation, problem-solving meeting, academic issues, let them discuss, let them speak out. Ang hirap, sir. Lahat kami nahihirapan kay Mr. So-and-so, kay Miss So-and-so. Okay, and they can be very valuable feedback that it's not about critiquing, criticizing, or griping, or ranting. No, we're going to meet class because we have got to be together in solving problems, in finding solutions. Classroom improvement meeting, follow-up meeting to a past meeting that we had, so that we can discuss now, o sige, anong action plan natin? Nung last meeting, ang ating discussion is what I don't like about the class. Sige, now let's have a follow-up meeting to discuss what can we do to address those problems. It's fantastic, you know. When you do that, every single one in the class starts feeling responsible for the class. Now you can say, bakit hindi mo bringing up dun sa class meeting natin? Sana diniscuss natin yan. We could have found a solution to that. And then finally, the last four of them: planning meeting, concept meeting, sticky situations, suggestion box, class business box, meeting about meetings. Sige, this week, ano ang mga different discussions that we will do in our meeting? Okay? So, give students a voice. Well, it's already 11:02, and as I mentioned earlier, I don't think I'll be able to finish all. Just to let you know that the next part after this is, bakit may mga pumapasok pa rin hanggang ngayon na log out? The last part that I did not even get to cover will be, what can we do to engage the parents, to make them part of the creating a kind and caring classroom. As I mentioned at the start, I was not expecting to be able to cover all the strategies, but the slides are all there, and some of the strategies are very clear. You don't need explanation for them. I mean, it's like you can surely benefit from even just a few words in a slide talking about strategies that you can use. Okay. Sabi ni Mr. Watt, this was one of the most memorable experiences of mine last year. Class president took initiative to ask students to write down any issue about any classmate or attitude in the classroom. I gave the time, and without any judgment, they were openly able to talk about and resolve issues on their own. It's possible. Okay? So, great. Because when you give the students a voice, when you empower them, great things happen. Okay? Brown out, sir. Kaya pasok ulit. Kawawa naman sila. But as I mentioned also yesterday, ma'am, sir, this talk, this webinar is being recorded. And so I will post in Facebook the link to the YouTube video recording of this seminar so that you can watch it without any fear of being disconnected or disjointed or um, without missing any of the things I discussed here. Um, yeah, no problem. I understand about Wi-Fi dying in one place or another. Unfortunately, in Masbate, electricity disappearing. So that's why I am making the link to that YouTube recording of this presentation. Okay. Now, when I send the link there, please take note that only those with a link can access that video. Okay. Um, Only the ones with a link, especially because I have some commercials embedded, and YouTube will flag me for copyright infringement for using those Jollibee ads or the McDonald's ads. That's why I cannot make it as a public video, monetizing it. It's not meant to be monetized. It's just meant for teachers like you who took the pains, the sacrifice of joining us, and then suddenly with the Wi-Fi giving you problems. Anyway, so it's there. It's going to be made available for you. You can just watch it at your own convenience. And as I always announce in every session, if you want to ask for a certificate for this session, please email catalystpds@gmail.com with your full name as you wanted to appear in the certificate and the title of the seminar you attended. Okay? I received emails yesterday that simply says, "Sir, I ask for a certificate," without indicating the full name and without indicating the seminar that they attended. You're making life difficult for me. Please don't be kind enough to make it easier by indicating your full name as you wanted to appear in the certificate and the full title of the session that you attended. Okay, the recordings will be available. Siguro let's give it, well, I'm not going to remove it there because anyway, only those with a link can access it. And it's not meant for monetizing or for earning money from YouTube. No? So I will not put it down. I will not remove it for as long as YouTube does not flag me for copyright infringement. Um, Great. Well, we've gone past 11 o'clock. Please email me if you have questions. Sir John Watt has given us a little more additional inputs here, fantastic ideas. I hope you have been able to get ideas on how to improve the school climate in your school, whether it is a public school, a Catholic school, a school of the religious. All of us as educators can still do more in making the atmosphere better, the climate better. And I thank you very much for joining us. um, as I said, well, I will not have to apologize that I didn't get to cover all because really 2 hours is not going to be enough. But they are all in the PowerPoint presentations that you can download. Okay, what I'd like to do now is our traditional graduation standard thing. May I ask everyone to open your videos. Those of you who can turn on your videos for our mandatory uh, picture taking so that the world will know that we spend time improving ourselves as teachers, attending valuable seminars like this. Okay, there are 3 pages, and so I will have to ask you to smile a bit longer. Okay, page one, smile please. One, two, and three.
Hmm.
Great. Let's go to page two. Smile. Please turn on your videos if you can and smile at one, two, and three. There. Okay. And finally, the last page, page three. Great. Everyone is there in the video. Smile. Count of one, two, and three. Okay. Great. Well, I'm going to type here again for everyone to see the email you're going to send your request to for the um, certificate is, catalyst, not calatist. Catalyst PDS at gmail.com. There. Okay. Catalyst PDS, Professional Development Services at gmail.com. Please send your full name as you want it to appear in the certificate and the title of the seminar that you attended. Okay? Tomorrow, we're going to cover how to develop grit, resilience, and empathy. 3 essential virtues, especially for the digital generation. If you have co-teachers who are not here with us today, you can invite them to come over for tomorrow, the last day of this 5-day seminar, 5-day seminars. And I hope you have found this worth your time. Okay. Thank you very much again to all of you for joining us. I will be now um, ending this meeting. God bless everyone. Hope to see you in our future meetings. And good luck in your endeavors as teachers. Hope to see you face to face in real, uh, not virtual, but reality. No? Thank you. And God bless everyone. Ending meeting in 5, 4, 3, 2, and goodbye.